Welcome to my lesson on how to write a stellar introduction to an argumentative essay. Some common mistakes are believing these three things. Number one, a reader is prepared for my argument and does not need any background information. Number two, I can argue both sides of an issue in an argumentative essay. Or number three, I do not need to state my claim until the end of my essay. Do not make these mistakes. The purpose of the introduction is to introduce your reader to the topic that you are writing about, to provide the reader with all the necessary information to understand the topic and your argument, and also to make perfectly clear what you are arguing, and to provide your reader with a roadmap to the rest of your essay. This piece will become more clear when you look at my example introduction. There are technically 5 parts to the introduction. There's the hook, the background information, which should include a counterclaim, and then your claim plus the evidence, or in other words, reasons. And this, again, like I said, will make more sense when you look at my example. To look more closely at the hook, the purpose of the hook is to grab the reader's attention. You should not ask a question. The reason for this is that in a formal essay, you do not want to address your audience. You also don't want to speak about yourself. So starting off with a question is directly addressing your audience, and this should be avoided. Instead, try to use a relevant quote from a credible source, and I often do that by using this book here called Quotationary, and it organizes a bunch of quotes in order of subject, and another place that I use is Brainy Quotes, I think, on the internet. Another thing you can do is to state a thought-provoking idea or realization that you had during your research or while reading about the topic. And if you can't find a great hook, skip it, especially in an assessment. You don't want to start your essay off with a bleh. You should start it off really great. That's the whole point of a hook, so skip it if you can't find something great. Background information. This is the second most important part, second only to the claim. The purpose is to give your audience all of the information it needs to understand what you are writing about. And if you're writing about one piece of literature, use task. And how to do that is delineated right there. You should define any difficult words or concepts that the reader may not know or that are specific to the topic you are writing about. You should state the counterclaim, which I'll talk more about in a second, and you need to be sure to give your reader everything he or she needs to know about the topic on which you are writing. The counterclaim. The purpose of the counterclaim is to give your audience all of the information it needs to understand what you are writing about, including the view of anyone who might disagree with your argument. You can begin your counterclaim by stating some may argue or some may assert that. And make sure the argument opposite of yours is very clearly stated. In other words, the reader should not have any questions about the counterclaim and the fact that it is opposite of your view on the issue. Last comes the claim, and this is the most important part of your introduction. The purpose is to clearly state your argument. Make sure your argument is crystal clear. Make sure your claim is written in your own words, and, man, these are taking a long time. It's kind of cool, though. Make sure your claim sticks to one side of the issue. Do not waver. Do not argue both sides of an issue. That's a massive mistake. Your purpose and point is to argue one side of the issue. Your claim should also include an introduction to the evidence, which is another way of saying the reasons why your claim is true. So the purpose is to provide a cleared roadmap of your essay to your reader. You should make sure to address each piece of your evidence that you will use in your body paragraphs, and make sure your body paragraphs stick to the order you establish in your claim or thesis, and that's going to become really clear when you look at my example. This should be the last sentence in your introduction. Other general rules to follow are to use precise and academic language. You want to use a variety of transitional techniques And you want to proofread for grammatical, punctuation, and capitalization errors. And you'll see that the use of variety of transitional techniques is in black because I highlighted my examples in black. This is my example of I think it's a pretty decent introduction. It is on the issue of animal testing, which is what we're using as our example in class, and it's the prompt that I gave you about a few days ago. Go ahead and pause the video now and read through it. You'll also see that everything is color-coded. Orange is hook, blue is background information, red is counterclaim, green is the claim in my own words, which is my argument, and purple is the introduction or reasons, introduction to my evidence. Pause now and read this carefully. So the learning targets we've covered in this lesson, I found 10 of them. Pause the video now and you should be able to rate yourself at least a 2 or a 3 before you finish watching this video. You should make sure that you know how to do these 10 things, and if you don't, then we need to talk. You need to come and see me ASAP. Just to review, this was a lesson on how to write a stellar introduction to an argumentative essay. I hope you enjoyed. Good luck. And come prepared to write your introduction tomorrow in class.